Hello friends, how are you? I hope you are good. In the last video lecture, I have taken the guidelines on the estimation of blood sugar level, and this was for medical students as well as for dental students. But today I am going to take the practical on or the guidelines on test on reducing sugar. This is specially meant for only dental students. So this is a qualitative test. Last video lecture it was the quantitative test. So this is a qualitative test for the dental students. That is the guidelines on test on reducing sugar. The test which we are going to see, they are only meant for reducing sugars only. What are reducing sugar? What are non-reducing sugar? We have already seen in the theory lecture. So you must know that these reducing sugars are monosaccharides, disaccharide. In disaccharide, the maltose and lactose, they are the reducing sugar, but sucrose, it is non-reducing sugar. So we are seeing the test on reducing sugar, particularly on monosaccharides, especially for glucose. You must know that glucose is one of the important reducing sugar. So here this glucose solution is prepared first in a conical flask, and this flask is measured 1 liter of measuring. This conical flask is there in which glucose solution is prepared, and this glucose solution is prepared by taking the salt of the D-glucose or dextrose, known as dextrose glucose. Dextrose. It is available in the most of the institutes laboratory. So here you must know that dextrose is used, the salt dextrose is used, and the glucose solution is prepared there in a conical flask which is having the capacity of 1 liter. So here glucose is prepared, glucose solution is prepared here, and now we'll see the test. The first test will be Molish test. In the chemical reactions of the monosaccharide, we have seen that how the monosaccharides gives the reduction test here. So Molish test is nothing but it is a test belongs to the reducing sugar glucose. We'll see first the formation of alpha naphthol, how it is formed. Alpha naphthol is one of the important reagent for this test, that is known as alpha naphthol. Alpha naphthol. 1 gram of alpha naphthol powder is taken in a beaker and it is dissolved in 95% of alcohol. So here 1 gram of alpha naphthol is dissolved in 95% alcohol and it is prepared. Now we'll see the procedure for this alpha naphthol. We have to take 2 ml of glucose solution, and to this 2 ml of glucose solution we are adding 1 or 2 drops of alpha naphthol. 1 or 2 drops of alpha naphthol, and it is mixed properly. This is taken in a test tube. 2 ml of glucose solution and 2 drops of alpha naphthol is added. It is mixed properly, and to this solution by the side of the test tube we are adding concentrated H2SO4. Concentrated H2SO4. See, you have to take precaution here. We are using concentrated H2SO4. You have to take with the help of the pipette, and you have to use your thumb for adding the H2SO4. You do not suck it. So this is an important precaution for the adding of this H2SO4. So this 2 ml of glucose solution is taken 1 to 2 drop of alpha naphthol is added, and with a slanting position we are adding the concentrated sulfuric acid. So suppose this is a test tube and we have to do this in a slanting position. We have to make it in a slanting position and we have to add concentrated sulfuric acid. The tip of the pipette should be inside of the test tube and you have to add drop wise, slowly. If you will not add this concentrated H2SO4 slowly, then you will not get the structure. A ring structure is formed at the junction of the test tube in a violet color. Violet color complex is formed, and this violet colored complex or ring is known as furfural. It is called as furfural. So this violet colored complex furfural is formed here after adding the concentrated H2SO4 slowly, drop wise, with the help of the pipette or thumb, you can say that. So here a violet ring will form here at the junction and two equal parts are developed, upper part and the lower part. These two parts will be in a equal manner, or the same parts will develop there when the ring is formed in the center. So this furfural which is formed later, it is condensed with alpha naphthol. It is condensed with alpha naphthol, and here you must know that this reaction is seen in the principle. The principle is very important. Principle. The principle of this test is very important because you must know that anybody can prepare this test, but you are going to become the doctors, therefore you must know the principle also of this test. What is the reason behind this test? So that is called as the principle. When sugar is treated with concentrated sulfuric acid, then this sugar will be dehydrated. Sugar will be dehydrated. Means that a molecule of water is given out. Due to this dehydration, a furfural form here. A violet colored ring will form here and it is condensed with the alpha naphthol. So this is the principle of the test, that is known as Molish test. So in the examination sometimes this question is asked by the examiner, say the principle of the test of Molish test. So you have to give the dehydration takes place by the addition of the concentrated sulfuric acid and a furfural is formed. Later on this furfural will be condensed with alpha naphthol. So you must know that. So this is the principle belongs to this Molish test. Now you must know the procedure we have seen, principle also seen. Now you must know what precaution is to be taken for this test. I told you that concentrated sulfuric acid is very dangerous one. It is very harmful. You must know it is the mineral acid. So you should take carefully and you have to add carefully. Otherwise it should not fall on the apron or the clothes, or you should not get on the hands also while preparing the test. So these are the important precautions to be taken in this Molish test. So the another test we'll see, that is called as Fehling's test. The second test is known as Fehling's test. In this test we have to prepare two different solutions, that is Fehling's A and Fehling's B. For this Fehling's A solution we have to take 34.65 gram of copper sulfate, and it is made up to 500 ml mark. How to prepare this solution? We have to take a measuring cylinder. It is a measuring cylinder and it is marked up to 1 liter. So we have to take 34.65 gram of copper sulfate in this measuring cylinder, and it is diluted up to 500 ml. It is to be diluted up to 500 ml, and this will become the copper sulfate solution. So this becomes Fehling's A solution. So this 34.65 gram of copper sulfate is taken in this, and it is diluted up to 500 ml water. So this is the preparation for Fehling's A solution. Then we prepare the solution, that is Fehling's B solution. So here it is prepared 125 grams of potassium hydroxide. Here 125 grams of potassium hydroxide is taken in a measuring cylinder. Its capacity is 1 liter. So in this measuring cylinder we have to take 125 grams of potassium hydroxide, and then 174 grams of Roche salt is added. 125 grams of potassium hydroxide to this 174 grams of Roche salt is added, and it is made or diluted up to 500 ml of water. It is diluted up to 500 ml of the water, and in this way Fehling's B solution is prepared in the laboratory. But this solution is given to you ready-made for the purpose of the test. So it is made generally by the biochemists who are available in the particular institute. So you must don't worry about this. This preparation of the solution I am explaining you. Why for you I am explaining you? Sometimes the examiner asks, tell me the Fehling's A and Fehling's B solution, how it is prepared. He can ask you. He can ask anything question from the theory or as well as practical. The Viva is meant of the 10 marks, and these marks are very essential to get through the examination. A single mark can also keep you behind. So you must know that you have to prepare it well for the Viva purpose. So this preparation of the solution can be also asked by the examiner. So you must be thorough about this, how the solutions are prepared of the particular test. Okay. So here the principle of this test is what? The reduction. In the reduction we have seen that the reducing sugar, always the reducing sugar cupric ions are converted to cuprous oxide in alkaline medium. So these cupric ions which is present in the copper sulfate solution can be converted to cuprous oxide in alkaline medium. The copper sulfate means it is an alkaline medium. So in this alkaline medium, cupric ions are converted to cuprous oxide. So this is the principle of a particular test that is called as Fehling's test. Now we'll see the procedure of this Fehling's test. Here the precaution should be taken here. Fehling's A and Fehling's B solutions are not stable for a long time. Stability is low. Therefore it is prepared freshly before starting the practical. Fehling's A and Fehling's B. So this is the stability is very low of this solution, Fehling's A and Fehling's B. Therefore they are prepared separately. Now the procedure for this, that the 2 ml of Fehling's A plus Fehling's B is taken in a test tube. First the Fehling's A and Fehling's B, these solutions are taken in a test tube. So you must know the 1 ml of Fehling's A and 1 ml of Fehling's B solution is taken in a test tube, and it is boiled for 1 minute. It is boiled. Okay. Now what will happen here? After boiling, the reduction will be there. We are seeing the test on reducing sugar. The monosaccharides are reduced. Again here the cupric ions are converted to cuprous oxide in alkaline medium. So you must know that the reduction will be taken, and this will be the principle for the test, and the procedure is the 2 ml of Phalanx A and Phalanx B, means 1 ml Phalanx A and Phalanx B 1 ml is taken in a test tube. And here in this, what will happen? The sugar solution is added actually. After boiling of the 1 minute of this 2 solution, sugar solution 2 ml is taken, and again it is boiled for 1 minute. There will be red precipitation occurs. Red precipitation. So here this red precipitation is nothing. The reduction of the monosaccharide will be there. Cupric ions are converted to cuprous oxide. So this will be the Phalanx test. So you must know that the Molis test and Phalanx test we have seen. Now we'll see the third one, that is called as Benedict test. Now this Benedict test is very important. It is very general. Nowadays this test is done only for diabetes patients. So here the diabetic patients are too much. So the person who belongs to the diabetes, he can do at home also. Benedict test is a manual test. The patient belongs to diabetes, they can do this test at home also. But it becomes difficult for them to prepare the solution. Therefore they use the ready-made kit method, and that bottle, a brown bottle, consists of so many sticks inside it, and one of the stick is taken to do the test. So you will see how the Benedict test is performed in the laboratory. Here first the 17.3 grams of copper sulfate and 173 grams of sodium citrate and 100 grams of sodium carbonate. So these are the reagents taken for the preparation of the Benedict solution. This is nothing but the Benedict solution. So here first 17.3 gram of copper sulfate is added to 170 gram of sodium citrate. First of all, these are the two substances which are dissolved, and then 100 gram of sodium carbonate is added to it. And all these three, they are made up to 1 liter. Means here it is taken in a measuring cylinder made up of, the capacity of this measuring cylinder will be 1 liter, and it is made up to 1 liter here. Means that these are all the salt, they are taken in the 1 liter. It is first mixed well, and it is made up to 1 liter in the measuring cylinder. Now we'll see the procedure for this. This Benedict test is very important. I already told you, and you must know that this test is done in the laboratory. 5 ml of Benedict solution taken in a test tube. It is taken in a test tube. 5 ml. Then to this sugar, 8 drops of, you must know that glucose solution is added. 8 drops. Of glucose solution is added. Mixed it well and boil for 2 minutes. After boiling, we will get red precipitation. What will get? Red precipitation. And this red precipitation is nothing but it shows the reduction of the monosaccharide. I told you already that cupric ions are converted to cuprous oxide. So this becomes the reduction. Benedict test is also seen in case of the diabetes patients or the diabetic person. So you must know that this Benedict test is useful for the detection of blood glucose level in urine. So you must know that the 5 ml of Benedict solution is taken and in a test tube 5 ml of Benedict solution is taken in a test tube, and here 8 drops of urine is added and it is boiled for 2 minutes. Then we will get the red precipitation. The red precipitation will be there, and here the reduction will be there. Cupric ions are converted to cuprous oxide. The same principle will be here, and this red precipitation will give after the boiling of 2 minutes. But this color will develop just after few seconds only. The first color will be trace, that is green in color. During the boil, the green color will appear after few seconds. The means the glucose will be present in the urine in trace amount. The green color appears means 0.5% of the glucose is present. If the color is yellow, then it will be seen that 1% of glucose is present in the urine. If it is red in color, it is said to be 2% of the glucose is present in the urine. If it is more than 2% of the glucose will be there, then it is said to be that the acetone will be present in the urine. Acetone is nothing but it is a ketone body, will appear in the urine of the diabetes person. So this will be the color can be seen during the boiling. So here trace, that is green color 0.5%, if yellow color 1%, red color 2%. So this will be the situation of the colors during the boiling, and after 2 minutes we get the bricks red color. Bricks red color, and after bricks red color we get the acetone, presence of acetone in the urine. So you must know in such a manner the steps are carried out. Now we'll see the another test known as Barford test. This test is meant to distinguish between monosaccharide and disaccharide. Means that this test specially meant for only monosaccharide. Monosaccharide can be seen here in this Barford test, but it is not possible for disaccharide. This is the difference. This is the main principle of the test, that monosaccharides are detected but the disaccharide cannot be detected. You must know that monosaccharide as well as disaccharide, in disaccharide some sugars, they are reducing sugars like maltose, lactose, and lactose. But this disaccharide cannot give Barford test positive, because there will be the difference in the time of the boiling. Means for this monosaccharide we boil only for 2 minutes. If we boil the solution of disaccharide with this Barford test for 15 to 20 minutes, then false reading can be given, means red precipitation can occur. Disaccharide requires 15 to 20 minutes for hydrolysis, but monosaccharide requires just 2 minutes for the hydrolysis purpose. So this is the difference here. The Barford test is done only to see the monosaccharide, only for the reducing sugar monosaccharide. So you must know that this is the difference here. This is the main object of this test, that is the why for this Barford test is done. If it is asked in the examination, then you can say that this is the test belongs to the monosaccharide, to distinguish monosaccharide from the disaccharide. So you must know the procedure will be 3 ml of Barford reagent is taken or solution is taken, and to this 2 ml of glucose solution is taken, and it is boiled for 2 minutes. Boiled for 2 minutes. Red precipitation appears. Red precipitation appears at the bottom of the test tube. Means that if we take in a test tube 5 ml Barford solution, 2 ml glucose solution, and it is boiling for 2 minutes, red precipitation appears partially at the bottom of the test tube. See here, there is difference between the partial reduction and full reduction. Up to now we have seen that the precipitation, full precipitation is taken in case of failing test and in case of Benedict test. But here the partial reduction takes place, that will be at the bottom only of the test tube. So here you can see that the partial reduction will be there. And this partial reduction is due to copper acetate. So in acid medium, the glucose is reduced here. In acid medium, glucose is reduced. Therefore, the partial reduction will be there. Now we'll prepare the Barford solution. How it is prepared? To 12.3 grams of copper acetate dissolved in 200 ml of water. This 12.3 gram of copper acetate dissolved in 200 ml of water, and it is to be filtered. And after filter, we have to add 1.8 ml of glacial acetic acid. So here you must know that the reduction is given in presence of the acid medium. Here the acid is copper acetate. So here the sugar will give reduction in presence of the acid medium here. Therefore, you must know that the reduction takes place in acid medium here. Therefore, the partial reduction is given at the bottom of the test tube. Now we'll see the another test, that is Selivanov's test. Selivanov's test is specially meant for the ketone sugar. What is the example of ketone sugar? Fructose. In the classification we have seen what is aldose and what is ketose during the theory. So this test is meant only for ketone sugar, that is fructose. Now we will prepare the Selivanov reagent. 0.05 gram of resorcinol taken in 100 ml of dilute HCl. It is prepared here. 0.05 gram of resorcinol is taken in 100 ml of dilute HCl. Now you see the procedure here. In this 3 ml of Selivanov's solution is taken, and to this 2 ml of ketone sugar is added. This is taken in a test tube and boiled for 2 minutes. Then what will you get? The red pink color appears. What will be the observation? Red pink color appears, and this red pink color appears means that sugar will be treated with HCl. Where from HCl comes? It comes from the Selivanov's reagent. That this sugar is treated with HCl and red pink color appears. Means that it shows the presence of ketone sugar. In this test, if we are using glucose solution, so it will not give positive test for Selivanov test. It will give negative. No color, no furfural will develop there. So here, in the presence of 3 ml of Selivanov solution, 2 ml of ketone sugar, when it is boiled, red pink color appears, means that the furfural will form there. Furfural. And this furfural which is developed, it is condensed with the resorcinol. Where from this resorcinol comes? From the Selivanov reagent. So this will be the principle that sugar, when it is treated with the Selivanov reagent, will give furfural, and this furfural is condensed with resorcinol. So this is the principle. So you must know, the students, you must know that the principle is very important. In each and every test, you have to see what observation is there after taking the solutions, then after boiling, then the principle you have to say, and then you must know if the contents of the solution is asked by the examiner, you have to answer for that. So here the principles are very important from the point of the examination. So this all becomes the test for the reducing sugar, which is only meant for the BDS students, not for MBBS students, because these are all qualitative tests. What is difference between the quantitative and qualitative? The qualitative, in the qualitative test we are taking 2 ml, 3 ml, 4 ml approximately with the help of the pipette, and in quantitative test we have to take the fixed amount, whatever it is declared in the procedure. So this is the difference between the qualitative test and quantitative test. So here you must know that this is the guideline for the BDS student from the point of the Viva. Thank you very much. I have completed the first practical for the dental student, that is the test on reducing sugar. If you like my lecture, you share it, give comments, subscribe it. Thank you very much.